I never knew that I was gonna be a buffoon. Watching all of these really dog shit cartoons.
Going down to the buffoon zone to record.
But that's just how it's gotta be. Cartoon Network Studios is fucking dead. And honestly,
So no head. On this week's episode of Cartoon Buffoons, I'm Wyatt, and who is here with me today as always?
hello, I'm Morgan. I'm the second Destroy and Destroy, Build, Destroy.
Okay. And we are here, finally doing it. We are talking about Reanimated / Out of Jimmy's Head.
Yeah, you've all been clamoring for this if you've been hitting the head with a rock, I guess.
Yes. So this is a big piece of shit. So that's my first thing right off the bat. Maybe one of the worst shows that we've talked. I'm still in debate if it's the worst because Robot Boy is so bad, and so. But the problem is, okay.
I think the movie's worse than Robot Boy, but we'll get into that. But yeah, I think this is worse than Robot Boy.
Yes. The movie Reanimated is truly dreadful. I remember thinking it was the better of the two as a kid.
That's just crazy wrong.
Yeah, I just don't know what came over me as a 11-year-old. Like, I just don't know. Like, I remember thinking, like, oh, the movie is fine, and then when the show came out, I was like, oh, this is not as good as the movie was. And then I remember, and then now watching the movie, I'm like, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I had it on while Kathy was working. Kathy was like in the living room working, and I had the movie on. And Kathy just kept looking up and looking at the screen and then at me with like this like. Disgust. I just want to say it's the reaction like you have on a subway bus when someone is screaming and arguing on the phone. Where like it's like disrespect and pity. That was the look I was getting while I was watching this shit.
Yeah, you're wasting both of our time right now watching this garbage. Like that's the energy.
You'll never get this time back. Yeah, you'll never get this time back. When you die, you've lost an hour to this movie.
Yeah. So okay, before we get any deeper into either of these things, do you have any history with this?
Yeah, when this came out, I was like, I don't know, maybe 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was hot dog shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't even like a human yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ooh, this is bad. Like, this is like capital B bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think, like, this might have been, like, I, like, turned it to the Nostalgia Critic at some point, like, an Animorph. And I was just, like, giving, like, it all the unfair criticisms. It was really dog shit. And I remember going, like, ooh, I just hope this movie never shows up again. And then it got a show. And I remember going, I'm just going to not watch this utter dog shit. Yeah. It was like you smelled the air of what was happening at Cartoon Network. This is the canary in the coal mine.
Yeah, yeah. This, similar to Robot Boy, the show is one where I really only ended up watching, like, when I watched the first episode, I was like, oh, I remember this. And, I mean, obviously, I told you right before the call, I only watched 3 episodes. So I only watched the first episode. I watched episode 13, Outdoors. And then I watched episode 20, Lunch Tables. A couple of them were labeled as Lost Media. Which, by the way, that's not what Lost
I saw that
You can
too.
just find them on YouTube. They're not lost, but maybe at some point they were like lost episodes, and they uploaded it being like, "Look, we found them." I don't know if they were just on iTunes. Then I have a hard time believing that they weren't all bought, but then again, the show is bad enough that I could imagine people don't want to buy and archive it, so maybe it just like pure apathy caused it to become lost media. But yeah, the original movie, I guess I was like kind of interested in it because I was a fan of stuff like Drake and Josh at the time, so those kind of like tween sitcoms that were airing. And I thought like, oh, it's cool that Cartoon Network is kind of taking their own swing at it, and they're doing it, and they're still making it about cartoons. Like that was my rationale as a kid. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't very good. Even as a kid, I felt it was extremely cheaply made, and just
which
kind
is
of
crazy
like,
to say.
Yeah, to the point where like I got mad because like at that point is when I was taking a lot of like film and animation classes. And GarageBand loops are all over this fucking movie. Like the soundtrack is just Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's like maybe the worst part of it is how like it's cheap across the board, but it's cheap in ways that it's rare to see on like a production for television. Mm-hmm. It being silent for most of it, and then the music they use is like the same 1.5 songs. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like they start off like, oh yeah, like the classic teen movie that starts off with like the like, it's gonna be my greatest day, like that thing. Yeah. They use that song and then they use it like 2 scenes later for a montage. You can't do that. You can't use the same song for your opening montage as a later montage. It's weird. Mm-hmm. It's like cheap so strangely. Ugh.
Yeah. And like I said, they just like. I remember distinctly like the chase scene, huge quotes, when he's running from the fucking guy that's stealing the brain, or is trying to steal the brain. He like it plays like this like spy music, whatever kind of loop, and I was like, I used that when I was making like films in film class with like my 12-year-old like other students or whatever, like just terrible garbage. I just don't, and as a kid I thought like, hey, that's cheap, they just use this free music from this editing software. And now as an adult I'm like, is that legal? Is that like how now on
you guys do that?
Yeah. Is that like how on YouTube people use like the Kevin MacLeod like royalty free music for their videos so that they don't get copyright claims? Except for me, I just use video game music for all of my background music, but whatever. But yeah, so very bad. Though I guess we should at least talk about the cartoon characters in this movie. It always like obviously I knew that they couldn't pull out like 40s or 30s Disney style animation in this fucking thing that was seemingly made on a budget of like $2,000, like maybe, like I have no idea.
This has the same production quality as like that guy with the glasses movie.
That literally exactly what I was thinking. It was like a YouTuber
crossover
movie. Yes. And not even like Smosh or something, but like yeah, Linkara. That guy with the glasses.
Linkara has given me better quality film than this, and like his fun little comic reviews. And shout out Linkara, leave him alone, everybody. But like like this is just ass. I will say the animation also in the movie specifically makes everything look even cheaper. I didn't think it was possible because all the sets look bad and all the people look bad and the lighting looks bad. But they're like, oh, they added a cartoon cam like this. Wow, this looks even more YouTube now. Yeah.
This looks like, you know how like a few years ago when they came up with YouTube Red, and they're like, all right, let's have some like original series for YouTube Red. Like that's what this looks like, except for like maybe a step below even that. And yeah, so like all the cartoon characters, they're all animated by Renegade Animation, which is the same studio that did Hi Puffy Ami Yumi.
Puffy Ami Yumi. And you can tell because it looks bad.
Yeah, it has a similar quality where it's like kind of, like there's some level of like expressiveness to them, but for the most part, it is very like shitty. And I have nothing wrong with puppet or rig based animation. No. There's a lot of it that's very good. I mean, just watch a show like Centaur World or Hilda or whatever, you know, and like those shows look fucking incredible. But like, this is terrible. Like, this is a 2006 like you know, rig animation, and you know, to not discredit any of the people that may have worked on this, it just looks very cheap. And also, all the characters, they don't really, they're so generic, I guess. And maybe this is a strength. They don't really look like Disney at all. But they also don't really look like Hanna-Barbera characters at all. Like, I don't know what they're trying to go for, because clearly the backstory of the brain is Disney, but in the world, like Golly World, is like Disney. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if you've played these, but they look like Disney app characters.
Okay.
Like, you know, Where's My Water? Like that app game where you get the alligator, like, and you got to fill up like the water to make it so it can take a bath.
Yeah.
All those shitty Disney app games that were fun for like 14 minutes, that's what everyone from this looks like.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest issue with this is that, like, if they, like, this game is, like, playing at being a parody of Walt Disney, but it doesn't commit.
No, not at all.
Like, and I think it's because they don't want to get sued, but, like, bro, you can't half-ass parodying Mickey Mouse. Like, you're either going to do it or you're going to fucking not do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we've gotten Bendy and other shit at this point. Come on, like, who gives a shit?
Yeah. I don't know. The another thing, like, obviously it's hard to get too upset about child actors. But they're really fucking bad in this movie. Like, they're not, like, I feel like not look, I understand complimenting the child actors in like a Nickelodeon sitcom is loaded territory because of the people
deeply
involved.
Loaded territory because
but like it really is a step below what you would get in Drake and Josh and like Zoe 101 and stuff like that. That was created by a certain person. We're not going to get into that, but you know.
like those actors darkly created, they were like made to be good actors through like the same way Yusuke got stronger in like the tournament arc.
Yeah, where they put the orb of energy into
yes,
his chest.
Exactly, and it almost killed him. But like, yeah, I think it's crazy because I think the main kid in this is fine.
Sure,
but every other kid is so much more dog shit than him. It's wild, and they keep making him talk to them. Like they keep making him interact with kids that are like 40 times worse actors, and it becomes so apparent.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, his love interest is like a pretty terrible actor.
Oh, she's really bad.
She's really also bad. Like such a nothing character, unfortunately, like, which really sucks. Like when I knew that this movie, I mean, I knew it was gonna be dog shit from just like the opening scenes, but like. I had to stop multiple times watching the movie because of, like, there's a scene kind of fairly early on where he's talking to, where, like, he's hanging out with his friend, and his sister, like, that girl comes in who's his love interest, and she's watching the TV, and she's like, isn't that what every girl wants? A knight in shining armor or whatever. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Oh, fucking brother, this guy stinks. Like, just don't want to watch it. I'm like deeply aware that I'm 30 years old and I'm watching this garbage. So
it's the only thing she ever did to make me enjoy this movie is there's a part in the movie where she has a hat on that's really big.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I found it to be the only funny part of this movie. Hold on. I think I have a screenshot. And I was just like, this hat's really big. And I just said, Kathy, check out this hat. And that was like the only joy I got from this shitty fucking movie. But yeah, she's like really bad. And they keep doing scenes. And she's literally just a girl. And like we'll get into the show later, but like it's crazy how much the show, like even the writers of this go into the show like, yeah, we gotta change everything about her.
Yeah,
like, we gotta do everything.
But I really can't think of anything else to talk about in regards to the movie. Is there anything that like jumps out to you?
Yeah, this movie is going for something that the show like comes back on. That's not funny. This show is like oh guys, what if we use like cartoon silliness in a live action show? So like the show opens up with like the dad eating cereal made of sugar and pouring sugar on top of it, and laughing loud, like, oh, I'll get dressed in a car, and then you meet a sister who's an alien and they never talk about it, and like they do all this really weird stuff. Yeah. That you're like, this would be funny, and I'm like, well, it'd be funny if it was animated.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Let me hear that. It would be on the pathway to maybe being funny if it was animated. And then they cast like a bunch of like really good voice actors and talent as the cartoons.
Yeah.
And they suck. And they suck. Like, how the fuck do you have Ellen Green and like Paul Rubin and Tom Kenny and fucking like all these really funny people? I'm just like, wow, they're not helping at all. It's still it's still ass out here.
Yeah, I was really shocked when I realized like it's Paul Rubens as Golly and Ellen Green as Dolly, especially because as the gayest straight man in existence, Little Shop of Horrors is one of my favorite musicals.
Same. I do love Little Shop. Me too.
And Somewhere That's Green is one of my favorite songs ever written for a musical. So I was just like very shocked to be like, what the how did all of the budget go to affording like these?
It feels like it.
Yeah. And like Tom Kenny and Brian Posehn, I'm like, sure, fine. They're fucking cartoon voice actors. I mean, Brian Posehn is like, they're both comedians, but Brian Posehn would become like a cartoon voice actor for sure, like in the coming years. I am looking here on Wiki. It says that the Tux, the penguin, is loosely based on Donald Duck. That's not true. He's nothing like Donald Duck. He's nothing
like Donald Duck. What the fuck?
He's like Donald Duck is like
shitty jokes.
Is an ornery sailor. Like he's he's just a bird. I think those are the only two things that are similar about them.
Also, I think it's bizarre that the villain guy is just doing a shitty Tom Kenny impression.
Yeah.
When Tom Kenny is in this fucking movie. If you're gonna have this dude do like a shitty version of Tom Kenny's pirate voice, just get Tom Kenny to do it.
Yeah. I thought. Hold on, this is very depressing. I was like, okay, who's Matt Knudsen, the guy who played him? Best known for playing the villain Sonny Appleday in Cartoon Network TV film Reanimated and spin-off series Out of Jimmy's Head. Would definitely consider killing myself if that was my top credit on Wikipedia.
If I'm not doing that, I am definitely like reshaping my life entirely. Like I'm becoming a new person that no one knows of.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, that's what he did. He was like, all right, after 2007, I'm not doing any television anymore. I'm doing other stuff.
No, he's in I Think You Should Leave, which is a funny show. So it's like a bit parts every so often. So that's something, But yeah, I think that's it for Reanimated.
Yeah,
it was
Reanimated.
Not funny. It wasn't fun to watch. It was also so long. Like, I know it's an hour and 15 minutes, right? It felt like 4 days. I felt like I was like stuck in like the Infinite Tsukiyomi. Like Atashi was there stabbing me with swords. Like I couldn't escape.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really fucking bad. And like you said, it tried so hard to be funny, and it just didn't even come close to hitting. Like there was a couple times where I'm like, okay, maybe that would have been kind of funny, or I kind of see what they're going for. Like that's about as far as I could go. It never actually brought any joy to me in any way, because the whole it's almost like aliens like came down and decided like, okay, you know how all these Dan Schneider shows on Nickelodeon are like, they're very over the top and they're kind of wacky. What if we went like even further and just made it completely absurd and whatever, and then we made it like a cartoon,
but not interesting.
But they don't understand that they're as ridiculous as something like Ed, Edd n Eddy or Billy Mandy, whatever shows that were airing at the time, they have like a grounded quality to them.
Yeah.
So that you can still be, and like whenever something completely insane happens, it like is grounded within the reality of the world that the show takes place in.
And that's the joke.
Yeah. So like it's very hard for me to be like to care about this world when it just feels like they're just throwing shit at the wall. When like, why would the premise of a kid having the brain of somebody else, and then that, which obviously is ridiculous, but whatever, fine, that's the gimmick of the show, and then he sees cartoon characters, how is that even remotely interesting when all this other ridiculous shit is happening around him?
Like, you already set up that the world is very cartoony. This adds nothing to it. Like, listen, I think there's a lot of jokes to be made about him realizing that he's now schizophrenic. I think there's something really interesting there. But they don't do anything with it. Like, I'm like, oh, his dad can't see the cartoon, so he thinks he's just polishing the thing. And then his dad drinks a cup of just chocolate syrup. I'm like, no, that makes the joke not funny. Like, there's no, like, escalation of silliness. It's the same level the entire time. I also, wait, one more thing about the movie before we go into the show. What was the message?
I don't know.
Because like, I was watching it like this. Okay, so the issue is he gets walked all over until he, like, gains schizophrenia, and all the people in his head are telling him that he should listen to them and not people around him. The girl he likes finally gets to know him, and like not really, but she like sees, oh, you now own this animation studio, my favorite cartoons, yada yada yada. And then he starts working too much on the cartoons.
Yeah.
And she's like, you now have turned your back on us to make the cartoons that she enjoys.
Yeah, it's like the dumbest version of like the Disney dad, like you're working too hard, like you don't love us enough, whatever. Like it's like an even dumber version of that. Yeah. So
and then like she goes like this, you know what? You let people walk all over you, now you're letting the cartoons walk all over you. And I'm like, okay, we should call like a therapist then, because, and I can't express this enough. He is like having mass hallucinations. Like these are not real.
They don't affect reality. They are not. They are just his perspective. Like it's true. Like Boltzmann brain. Like this is his reality. Solipsism. He can only see this, and nobody else could ever interact. Nobody knows what red is to him. You know, like
it's the only funny thing about it is that like sometimes he'll be talking to them, and like the show does it more than the movie, but like in the show he's like on stage dancing with like all his cartoons, and they cut to the crowd watching him just silently move. And I'm like, fuck, wait, this is really funny. Yeah. But like it's the only funny thing, and they just don't do nearly enough with it, because like we don't talk about like this. Y'all gave him a brain that gave him schizophrenia, and no one like brings it up. And I think like that's like the worst part, is that like that's funny. That is objectively a really funny thing to work with. Also a little bit like insensitive, but like funny too.
But so yeah, the movie is fucking terrible. The show, like you said, slightly less terrible. So why don't we get into it? How did you feel about the show overall compared to the movie?
I think the movie was so bad that when I watched the first episode of the show and it had a human joke for humans, I was like, oh shit. Yeah. Fuck, dude, what the fuck is happening? They also cleaned house. They just fired the two side characters who could not act and hired new ones. And I think that's a good play.
That is true. They didn't even try to be like,
nope,
let's get people that look like them, because they
are black now.
Yeah, they casted two people of a different race to play the two characters that were replaced. So.
And you might go, oh, is this a reboot? No, they show footage of the first movie. They do not give a shit. Like, yeah. I'm like, fuck, this is really funny. Shout out to Nashe for being in it.
Yeah. That is who replaces the love interest. Who is like slightly more interesting of a character in the show than she was in. I mean, she was like literally nothing in the movie, so like very low bar, but
they cleared it.
Yeah, they try to give her something, and then what's the name of the boy?
Oh, I don't know. He's weird. That's all I know about him. I think his name's Craig or some shit.
Yeah, but that's like he's just a really lame sidekick character across the board, like in both the movie and the show. There's a scene in the sorry to talk about the movie again. There's a scene like early on in the movie where he's talking to some kids about they're playing like the Game Boy Advance, and it's like an excruciating fucking scene as far as like really bad acting. Like, this is borderline child abuse. Why are you making this kid do this? why this is so embarrassing. I wouldn't want to be him and go to school after recording this,
he's like, oh yeah, I beat that game. It says this game just came out. Well, my uncle works for the company and I got it and I beat it. And I'm like, nah, kids like this do exist. I love it when a kid lies. However, this kid is not selling me on this acting of it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, there's get the hounds. All throughout like elementary and into middle school, kids were just lying all the time about whatever they wanted. I remember like literally like this is a joke that you would see online as like an exaggeration of kids lying, but a kid did tell me that he played like he didn't have a GameCube, but he played Metroid Prime on the PS2, like a special gold edition of it, because I was even then talking about it. That was when the monster that became me now began. And he wanted to continue. He wanted to be part of the conversation and wanted to relate to me. But he didn't have a GameCube, so he talked about like, oh yeah, I play it on PS2. I'm like, but it's a Nintendo game. It's like a first party Nintendo game.
Is this like proof that the purest thing a human can do is deception?
I think so.
Is the reason kids lie because their souls are pure still, and they understand that lying is the closest you become to God?
I think so, because for me and a lot of kids, it was purely just to connect with another person. Like it wasn't it was to deceive, but it wasn't to harm. It was solely so that for acceptance and for
to be made one. To be legion, if you will. That's beautiful, actually. Like, the thing that connects us is not the thing I'm making up, but the fact that we all lie and deception because we want to be known. Buffoons cast is over. We're talking about philosophy now.
Yeah. And talk about, speaking about philosophy, this is like Nietzsche staring into the void, and the void stares back,
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is not... Okay, first of all, animation is different all of a sudden.
Better, actually.
Yeah, the characters that have gotten redesigned, it looks better. It's not as like cheap and stiff as the movie was, and that is apparently because it was done in-house at Cartoon Network through their Flash animation division, which I don't know if that was established here with this, because I can't recall anything that we've talked about to this point besides Hiya Puffy Amiyumi that use Flash animation. I guess maybe Foster's Home was Flash animation, so and that looks pretty good. I would say that this looks great, but it does look better. Like, the characters do look a lot better, a lot more expressive. There's a lot more subtle humor in the show than there was in the movie. But it also is 20 minutes. In the first episode, the kid starts rapping, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. This is just, yeesh. But whatever. It wasn't as bad as Reanimated was. So
yeah, like the first episode had me like kind of vaguely engaged, because like the plot is like they do like that's the talent show, right?
Yeah.
Funniest running joke. Huh?
I hit my mic. Sorry.
Okay. The funniest running joke in the talent show episode is like Robin, who is now a human being with a character, goes, guys, we should do a talent show as a competition. This is like taking the fun out of like performing. And every time she says that, basically everyone looks at the camera and goes, oh, fucking liberal. No talent. And every time it happens, it's really funny. Like, she's like this, guys, we're ruining having a talent show and like for it to just show how much fun you can have doing your thing. And the principal goes, do you not have a talent, Robin? Is that why you're saying it?
Yeah.
And everyone keeps saying it to her like every 3 minutes, and it's the funniest shit in the episode. Like, I'm like, wow, these are like real jokes. It's still not very good, but like, at least I'm like, I remember things that are happening here.
Yeah. It's like, and in general, like, there's a premise that is expanded upon and then, you know, is resolved or whatever. Like, it's very similar to that, the SpongeBob episode where he's making all the racist squirrel jokes.
Yes.
It's like similar to that where he's roasting Tux. The only problem is like nobody fucking knows like who he's talking about, but they're all just laughing anyway.
So this is again another thing where I'm like, this is a perfect joke to have people go, that was really funny. Who is he talking about? Because yet again, he's talking to one of the things that live in his brain through his new obtained mental illness from his brain transplant. Like, they don't know who you're talking about because you're hallucinating him. Yeah. And I love that he not only hallucinated him, he hallucinated his hallucination being angry at him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was this close to going, this show rules when that happened.
Yeah, like, this is real, like, lead poisoning hours here at the...
Like, at the end where he, like, is like, I'm sorry, Tux. And, like, he apologizes and is like, yeah, let's make up. And they're on stage dancing. And I told you this earlier, and the crowd, like, cuts to them just watching, like, what is he doing? He's just... And it like has him like dancing and stuff, and then it shows nobody there, and he's just alone, and you hear squeak of his shoes on stage, and I'm like, this is really fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like, someone help him. Call a therapist. What's going on?
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of philosophy, I think I understand maybe it's gauche to nitpick the logic of a children's sitcom, but let's do it. Yay. Why does transferring a brain into some like why, like, I know I didn't question it before, but like, what idea of consciousness and like personality is this going off of where you can put in a brain into a body and then the personality is exactly the same, but the brain.
So they explain that in the movie, dude. They explain that in the movie.
How?
They literally say, like, after something like this, hey, we gave your son a brain transplant. We were able to save his personality lobe. So he doesn't have just a brain transplant. He has a Frankenstein stitched together version of his brain and the brain of the Walt Disney stand-in.
I guess my question is that's not a thing that exists. So that's you know, the personality is made from all the brain interacting with each other. You know, like how certain memories are like, oh, it's these two parts of the brain for these type of memories, and then this part of the is a very complicated. I know we're not getting into neuroscience here on fucking cartoon buffoons, but like it's just like very like darkly funny to me. It's like with Frankenstein the movie where the reason why the monster is evil is because they got a criminal brain. And I'm like, why the like, because this was the 30s or whatever, so that's they had like a very shallow understanding of, you know, morality and everything, so they're just like, I don't know, criminals must just have fucked up brains.
Brains, evil brain. The thing is, like, you're right, and the fact that this is based off of like a real thing that people thought they did to Walt Disney is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the brain thing makes no sense, right? But also, it's the only funny thing about this.
Yeah.
It is the only funny thing about this. Like, picking apart is funny and stuff like that. Like, I do think, like, is the fact that it's stitched together why he can be physically harmed by these things?
Yeah.
Because there's no news of, like, the Apple Day guy being, like, as fucking fucked up as Jimmy is.
Yeah.
So did they like accidentally staple the new brain to his pain receptors so he can now be tortured by his hallucinations?
Yeah. But also like, you know, the world is so ridiculous that it's just like, oh, maybe he was like this and then nobody thought anything of it. They're just like, okay, whatever. Again, the world, they made it way too weird, the whole world.
Yeah.
So he's like, his out of, you know, like, I was gonna say not out of Jimmy's head, but like his out of control or whatever, like his out of pocket attitudes toward, like playing with the cartoon characters isn't like that much weirder than like his dad being like a weird guy or whatever. And I don't know, it's just like his sister's a fucking alien. Like what? Like
that's the craziest thing about this fucking movie, by the way.
Yeah.
And show, because they gloss over it, and there's a few jokes about it, but like nothing would be gained or lost if she was just human.
Yeah.
Like nothing would change. They're like this. Oh yeah, she's dating a werewolf, and I'm like, guys, this is not a joke. That's just like a statement.
Yeah, that's what
not a fucking joke.
That's what pisses me off. It's just like, it's like they just needed to one up like a Drake and Josh or like Amanda show or something like that, and they just were like, well, what if this happened? What if this ridiculous thing happened? It's like those like there's like a method to the madness as to why that stuff was happening, like in those shows, like it wasn't just complete non sequitur insanity. There was like some type of grounding, and like when things explode into surrealism, it would be funny because it's contrasting with the realism of what was happening before, or the groundedness of what was happening before. So it's like, that's what makes it, even in something that we're about to talk about, which is Chowder, the fourth wall breaking is funny because it doesn't happen all of the time. Like, it doesn't happen in every single episode. That's why it gets exhausting by season 3, is because at that point they just stop caring about the reality of the show and just have a lot more like fourth wall breaking and referencing type humor. So like it just is like taking the wrong lessons from that. And then even shows that were like popular or airing at the time that this show in the movie was, in 2006 and 2007, like Camp Lazlo and My Gym Partner is a Monkey or whatever, like, again, those, as annoying and obnoxious as My Gym Partner is a Monkey is, it's like still a fairly grounded show as far as like what happens to characters and like what they do and say and everything. So like, I don't know, it just is so amateurish to the point where it genuinely, they created something that feels like, not only is it made for children, it literally feels like it was written by like 14-year-olds.
See, I would say it feels like it's written by a psycho who never met a child.
That is also true. Like that's because I felt the same way. I remember when Cody and I did a podcast about Transformers, the Michael Bay Transformers movies. That was like, these movies are so fucking stupid. They literally actually do feel like a 14-year-old boy wrote these movies. Like, that's like,
I think the thing that that really sums it up is that I watched an episode of Drake and Josh not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing is, they don't write these like, so Reanimated and also Out of Jimmy's Head is written to be like things that kids are kind of dealing with, which is just school. A lot of shows will shorthand school to be the show is about kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about a single Drake and Josh joke I saw that purely encapsulated what it was like being a kid.
Yeah.
Was that there's just an episode about he gets a game sphere and he's excited about the shape of the console and nothing else about how it runs. Uh-huh. That's a real joke. That's a real beginning and end joke that a kid will attach itself to. And that's why, like, you still go, it's spherical.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's why it's still a reference that people make.
Yeah, because like I remember like getting a console, like I think you have to meet kids to write live action kids, and maybe some of the Nickelodeon people met kids too often. If you ask me, but like you got like, that's the thing. No one on this show seemed like they understood what kids found funny, or like what kids are like. Like they get like the broad strokes of it, but like that's it. It was so strange. It's bad. I do want to talk about like the actual people behind it really quickly.
Sure. Yeah, because I was just looking at that. So
what?
I said I was just looking at that.
Oh yeah, but Tim McKinnon is like the creator and writer for this, and I was like looking at his credits, and like he worked on a lot of shows like once.
Yeah, I was gonna say he worked on a lot of shows that I like. So that's why I'm very interested to see, like, oh wow, I can't believe that he made this fucking piece of shit. So because like, he worked on Fascism from Angie French. He worked on Juniper Lee, which we already talked about.
Yeah.
But even like later on, he worked on stuff like Wander Over Yonder. He worked on stuff like Hilda, Kid Cosmic. All these shows I think are great shows, and like a bunch of other stuff in between. And obviously he wasn't like the main creative person to the point where like I had no idea who the hell he was until looking this up right now. So it's like, maybe he's kind of lost in the shuffle in those shows, but he still contributed to them in some way, and they are great shows. So I believe he's talented. It's just like, what the fuck happened with this? Like, what on earth? And it just feels like, to me, like maybe he's like good at writing and coming up with plots and doing these things and coming up with these good ideas. But this show feels like it wasn't created by like a mind of a person who wants to create something. It feels like it was created in Cartoon Network's boardroom to, to be like, we need to appeal to this certain type of person. They had gotten like the same production company that made, stuff like That So Raven to come on and like be the producer for this show, and even Stevens. And that's go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it's the fact that like this is a different skill set.
Yeah, I think absolutely.
I think Cartoon Network wanting to have their live action show, like the board wanted to have their live action shows, is that they didn't realize that it's a totally different skill set. Like writing an episode of Foster's or Wander Over Yonder, right? Mm-hmm. And writing something like this that's about like normal kids in school, night and day skill sets, like night and day. Like, there's a reason why, like, when you look at like the shows that like he's written or worked on, they're not shows you get this kind of like we're going to school, kids interaction kind of deals. Yeah. There's like one or two kid characters, and the rest of them are dealing with very out of this world things, if there's any kid characters at all. Like Wander Over Yonder, Gravity Falls, Adventure Time, Foster's Home. Those are shows where like there's like one main kid, maybe, if there is one.
Yeah.
And I think like that philosophy was brought into this, and that's why I think Jimmy feels like a straight man for a silly world, but it doesn't work because the world's too silly. That kind of like, you can't do what Mac is to Blue in a live action show. It doesn't work.
And again, even like Fascism for Imaginary Friends, the house seems like wacky, but it's like a controlled chaos.
Yeah.
And then it's someone like Blue who sort of like ratchets up the insanity because of his self-serving, like whatever, like plot of the week, or like a character like Goo or whatever. And how would you compare this to something like Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide? Because I compared it to a few of the Dan Snyder shows, but I feel like that show is probably a better comparison because it's also trying to be like a live action cartoon show.
I think what makes Ned's Declassified work so well is that so I like that show a lot. I think the cats are all cringe now in modern day.
That's true. They're all podcasters now, apparently. So
they're all podcasters, and they're like, we're going to get a revival soon. And I'm like, well, they did a revival. It wouldn't be with you guys because you guys are 40. But anyway, like... But I think Ned's Declassified does this smart thing, which is it gives cartoon elements to normal people. Mm-hmm. Cookie is a normal black nerd kid, but the cartoon element of, like, he has, like, Donatello from like Rise type backpack and technology going on. Coconut Head is just a kid with a really bad haircut. Like they add these little things to make the show a little silly, but the plots are still like normal high school show plots with writers that know how to do that. Like it's like to live action shows what As Told by Ginger is to cartoons, where it's injecting these like this other genre stuff into it, but it is still like what it is. Like that show's still a cartoon and it's still live action.
Yeah. Like it's the opposite.
There's a balance. Yeah, there's a balance of having people that know how to do both on those shows, and there's just none of that in this.
This feels like it feels bad. And I think it's just as simple as what we're saying right now, like what you just said. It's Cartoon Network. They aren't used to making, they don't have an entire pipeline to make something like this. So it's like, it's going to suck. They didn't fucking nobody who worked on the show like knows what the hell they're doing. You know, not
like,
because
Nick
they're
and Disney
untalented. They're just
This is not something you just jump into. Like Nick and Disney, like legit have like decades at this point, like at least a decade and a half of doing this shit. I don't.
Yeah.
This is going to go into like the big thesis of seeing real was a fucking mistake because like what
Yeah.
are we doing here? But like the thing is like why are you trying to enter yourself in a fucking like style of show creation you know nothing about? I'm not like I don't want Heinz ketchup to make me fucking a cake. I don't want to buy a Heinz themed cake. Like they're fucking ketchup people. What are you doing? Like it's insane.
Yeah, and I don't know. Even at the best, you know, or like most interesting that this show got. Like I mean, you know, I was looking at the comments on YouTube, and the outdoors episode, like there was some comments for that. First of all, gotta throw out this because again, I only watched 3 episodes. Is only the first episode? Is that the only one without a laugh track, or do they just have random laugh tracks per episode? And I just so
I watched 4 episodes, like 5 episodes altogether, and I think a lot of them don't have laugh tracks. I think it's like
why the fuck
dealer's choice kind of deal.
Why, yeah, what happened? Were they just like I'm looking on Wiki? It says episode 8 is the first one to have a laugh track, which was the determination that was panned by critics. I love that. I love that people were discerning enough to be like, look, this show is now bad because of the laugh track. That's the deciding factor. What the fuck? Hold on. Episode 5, Ghosts. This episode was aired in 3D. What?
What is there's an executive like this, guys? People are not liking the show. We got to do stuff like what 3D episode, laugh track, smell-o-vision. There's an episode where the penguin gives you a hand job. I don't know, guys. We got to do something to make people watch this fucking show.
Yeah, very weird. But yeah, like I was just very like thrown off by the fact that all of a sudden there was a like this is not the show that needs a laugh track, because. It makes the already bad humor way worse because of the laugh track. It just like completely destroys the humor because ostensibly the jokes are funny because like they're delivered with such conviction, you know, and then like you sort of just have to like sit with it and like revel in that ridiculousness. They're not like written or paced to be like a sitcom. Like, and I guess I could give some credit to that too, is that the filmmaking is a lot more interesting than you get from a sitcom. I think that also comes from them being like the people working on it are animators, so
yeah,
they understand in their brain how to frame shots in a more interesting or dynamic way than a sitcom, which is created like to be as efficient and, you know, like repeatable as possible, you know.
Yeah.
There's no fancy camera angles in a sitcom, whereas like in a cartoon, like if you're boarding something, it's like, okay, this scene is this shot, you know, from this angle, you know, this is a zoom in or a bird's eye view or a worm's eye view or whatever. You know, but anyway, I don't know how much we have left to say.
I think actually, now you have to think about it, if I could fix this show, I think I would add a laugh track, but only when Jimmy's on screen.
Sure.
As a part of his hallucination. Yeah. As a part of his like degradation into madness. I would add like a laugh track only when he's like seeing something.
I would say it would work with the cartoon characters, like if whenever they're talking with him, there's a laugh track.
Yes, that's
because if they were, and then they leaned more into them being more like Hanna-Barbera style characters. So because like a lot of those 60s, like Flintstones and Scooby-Doo and stuff like that, like those had a laugh track on them. So like, yeah, I feel like maybe that could have worked, but again, they kind of go for this weird, like, oh, it's supposed to be like maybe Disney, maybe like Tex Avery, maybe, you know, like it's somewhere between like Disney and Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera. Like it doesn't fucking pick one, you know, like the gator looks very like Wally Gator-esque. Yeah. You know, like I don't know. And This show is not very good.
It's not good. It's not good. Yeah. I guess the actual real thing I'll say is you just brought that up and it made me think of it. I think the show really does, like, the way we talk about how a lot of other shows we've covered have like a very distinct what these people like to watch in other cartoons. This show doesn't. This show feels like the person that made it likes capital C cartoons, but nothing specific. And that's part of why it sucks so bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm not even saying that the people who made it are like uncreative hacks, but
no,
it doesn't feel like the people who made it had an opportunity to make something that they truly enjoyed. It feels like people, every step of the way, somebody said, "What if you put this in there? Wouldn't that be funny?" Like from overhead. And they're like, okay, I guess we got to put this in, dude, now. Like, they didn't let them like steer their own ship. And they were just like throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, and like all of it, not a single idea from this show or this movie is like funny or interesting or anything, except for the idea that they're like, oh, what if a human interacted with cartoon characters? Which I know maybe I shouldn't compare this to a certain movie, but it really is like, we have Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's like one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not impressed by Flash cartoons. Yeah, go ahead. What was it?
I thought you were going to say M. Night Shyamalan Split. I don't know why I thought you were going to say I was like, oh shit, you're going to bring up Split? But like, no. Okay, that makes more sense. I guess I'm fucked up. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, so everybody just go watch that movie. Go watch watch Split. And then watch, then after that, watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
And then watch Glass, the conclusion to the Unbreakable Split universe.
Yeah.
And then also listen to Tinashe's album, Quantum Baby, because she needs somebody to match her freak.
Yeah, it's funny that she's the only person in this show of any note afterward. Like, I feel bad because... you know, what's his name? Dominic Janes, who played the main character. He was in one movie after this, Wild Hogs, in 2007.
Oh my god, he sure was.
And then the only show he was in after this was Wolverine and the X-Men, which is...
As who?
As Sammy Paré, Squid Boy. So, in 2 episodes.
Oh god, that's nothing, yeah. But yeah, that's a fun show. It's not great, but it's a fun show. But yeah, Tinashe's the only breakaway star from this. And she had a big hit with "Is Somebody Gonna Match My Freak?" And people are still saying that shit. So shout out to Tinashe.
Yeah.
That's this episode of Buffoons. It's
it's done.
Side note. Fuck Wyatt, everybody.
Yeah.
Wyatt didn't watch 3 episodes. No, this motherfucker just eat your slop, you Sal, and then texted me a little bit later. Yeah, this might be the worst thing we've ever watched.
The movie was definitely the worst thing that we've ever watched.
Oh,
the
not
show,
even close. It's very much so.
The show, I don't know. Like, I think, the thing that makes it slightly better than Robot Boy in my head is that there at least is an attempt to create like a logical plot, like a 3-act structure in each of the episodes, which was just simply not present in Robot Boy. It just felt like it was like created by aliens. Like, I have no idea. Like, everything about it was just like why does this exist? Like, this is bad. It's all at odds with itself, etc. Just truly terrible. But hold on.
So yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
I would say, I think the movie is the worst thing we ever watched, period. But worst show we ever watched is still Robot Boy. Robot Boy's going strong. Shout out Robot Boy. Maybe.
It'll be hard to top it. So the next show that we got, actually, it is Chowder is like the next show that we're going to be doing. And I will say this. We just had Buster on very recently, but they want to come back on for TFA. That's the show after Chowder. I say we do one pilot thing just to spread it out a little bit more. Like between Chowder and Transformers Animated. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about Chowder. That'll be a very easy episode for me to do research on because I know exactly the episodes I want to go and rewatch for Chowder.
I'm also looking at the calendar. I'm also looking at like the calendar, and there's some fun stuff we could do also for like August and.
That's true. Yeah,
July. Yeah. I'll talk to you. Whatever. But yeah.
Say when it gets to.
Like,
yeah, because we do want to do some stuff to like break away from the format because we're about. I mean, we're actually like in a decent place here as far as like after that fucking terrible garbage that we just did. Like we're in like a decent place, like Chowder, Transformers Animated, Mr. Men Show, Ben 10 Alien Force.
Yeah,
Blackjack.
I would love if we had like we went to like something else for a month, and then when we came back, it wasn't dog shit. Because that's what happened when we did the Nick month, and literally it was like being jumped. It was like being beat up. Like I came out of Nickelodeon, and then my partner, the monkey, was there and started hitting me with bricks.
Like,
I'm like, fuck, hold on.
So yeah, we'll definitely like we'll let you guys know what we're going to do after that. But next episode is going to be Chowder.
Very excited.
Yeah, very excited again to do that. But anyway, Morgan, where can everybody find you on the internet?
Hello, everyone. You can find me at Girl Next Vor on Tumblr. Over there, I'm posting about nonsense, a lot of vampire posting, and also vampire art, and now werewolf, because I'm playing Werewolf the Apocalypse also. You can also find me on Blue Sky, Girl Next Vor also. I'm making shitty posts, I'm posting art, and I'm making dumb jokes, usually about wrestling. You got to get on that quickly, because I hear that they made a new train for the amusement park that decapitates you. And that train is going towards Blue Sky, and we'll be cutting Blue Sky's head off. So you got to get there very quickly. No one saw this fucking movie. They don't know what I'm referencing. What am I doing here? Go ahead, Wyatt. Where can we find you?
Now that you brought that up, I wonder if that is a reference to, like, theme park rides that do decapitate children. Like... Because that has happened like a couple of times in like theme park history. So I wonder if they're doing a joke about that, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we can't literally have his head get cut off, so we need like he gets hit by a thing and then he gets brain damage, so we have to give him a new brain."
Dude, this see, when you explain it like that, this movie sounds funny, but it's not. No. It's such a bummer.
Yeah. That's
but where can we find you?
On Twitter and Blue Sky, Wasbranger, WACP Ranger. It's mostly stream of consciousness stuff, but I do talk about podcasts I'm in and videos I'm doing. My channel, It's Only Magic. If you're listening to this on the channel, great. Go check out my other stuff. Did a video on Stugo. That's very good. Did a couple other videos this year, and I plan to do a couple more. And... if you want to listen to the next episode, which will be Chowder, you can listen to that right now. $3 on the Patreon. Also, It's Only Magic. If you only got $1, that's fine. You can listen to Wow Cool Robot, which is me and my friend Wayne going through every single robot in existence. What else is there? Oh, yeah. I mean, on other channels, I guest star, not as the host, but as just another guy with me and Cody. We do Horror Hole. So go on his channel, and then me and Buster, Toku Talkers, where we're going through and watching all of Gozuger, and then whenever like the new Ultraman show and the new Kamen Rider start, we will also work those in. But for now, we're just focusing on the current Sentai series, which is number 1 Sentai Gozuger, which is very good actually.
I saw the new opening for that, and it made me want to watch it so bad.
Yeah.
It was so funny. It was so funny. I'm like, fuck, they got the juice.
Yeah, it made me laugh very hard when that started up. But anyway, thank you for being here for this episode and justifying watching this shit. Actually, I should ask, because you seem upset by the fact that I only watched 3 episodes. How many episodes did you watch?
5.
Well, that's not even that much more than 3.
This show's really bad, though. So my 40 minutes means a lot to my existence as a person. Don't you fucking dare minimize it. I'll kill you.
I was expecting like 10 episodes. I was like, why did you marathon out of Jimmy's head? But
you got me fucked in the ass. Yeah. I'm watching fucking 10 episodes of Out of Jimmy's head.
So... I do have to update this list, the Cartoon Network Studios list, because we do have there's a few new things that are coming. But it's still crazy to me that we're this far. We've been doing it for like over a year now. There's still 80 more normal episodes, like not counting pilot stuff that we have to do.
Like we'll be doing this forever, guys.
Yeah, like the episode on Yanu, which is the most recent aired Cartoon Network Studios thing, or I guess Cartoon Network show. I don't know if it's Cartoon Network Studios actually, but that's a Nigerian show.
Yeah.
Like that, which I guess I'm interested in checking out because I didn't even know it existed until very recently. But that's 80 episodes from right now, so I guess lock in for that. And then Young Justice, which will be an episode, is 22 episodes from now. Yeah.
Dude, so, like Young Justice and Adventure Time are like, you ever replay a video game and you know that one boss you always struggle with? Mm-hmm, I'm so scared to get to Adventure Time.
Yeah.
I'm so terrified.
I don't even know what we're
going
to do. Yeah, because that's not.
Dude,
that's like.
It's so much.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like 10 fucking seasons, and it's just like a lot to talk about. So I don't know.
That might be a month. That might be a. You gotta do 3 episodes for Adventure Time.
That genuinely, we might have to do like, here's a. We do like the show, and then like we do an episode talking about like Distant Lands or whatever. You know, like we just take the entire month to talk about. Every week talk about Adventure Time. But anyway, Chowder next week, everybody. See you there.
Yay. Rada.